Hi. Um, Last time, when I was walking, I made this video, and none of you were upset about it. That the screen kept moving because of my stops. So maybe I'm trying it again. Um, it won't be a well-formed speech. None of my videos are like that actually, but it's just a random rambling about the things I have on my mind in this season. As I was making bread in the Hungarian videos, I was thinking about these things that God is beyond our concepts, revelations, understandings. The best ideas of God are quite shallow. Like, I really love the way different revelations on God's grace and goodness hit me in the last few years, but I really feel like God just allows me to get tired of all kinds of revelations and movements so that I can arrive at the point when I exclusively trust Him. For a long time I felt like I'm not committed enough or faithful enough to stick with like one understanding, like the Father heart of God or contemplation or something. I always wanted something like more, seeing more of God, and now I kind of see God's hand in it. Like, He allows me to be tired of all the conceptual things, all the ideas of Him, so that I might allow Him to take me to places in Him that are beyond concepts and beliefs. Spurgeon said, I can't quote it, but he says something like that our most noble ideas are not magnifying Him, but rather belittle Him. And these days I feel like God is inviting me to a place where I can't sense anymore what is going on in me, what He's revealing to me, what am I experiencing of Him. And this looks a bit like dangerous, like, am I going backwards? Does anything happen to me? Am I hanging out with God at all? What's going on? Is this still the presence of God, or have I moved to somewhere like very off course in the understanding of Him? And to be honest, I can't really tell you that anymore because what He's showing to me is beyond words, but not in a sense that, oh, it's so good and so marvelous and so supernatural that I can't even tell it. I mean, I literally feel like this is wordless and absolutely cannot be explained. And this is the revelation of no revelation at all. It's just being. And it's hard that, there is nothing I understand of God that I can put in a 3-sentence Facebook post. But even if I don't care about Facebook posts, there's nothing I can tell to myself about what's going on in me. And this is kind of scary. God invites us into Him, into the places of Him that are beyond concepts, revelations, great experiences. I mean, like understandable experiences. And He's like, okay, I've given you so many crazy things to wake you up, but there's so much more to me than those experiences. And I don't think that God just tricks us, like gives us some cool revelations and then withdraws and tells us that, okay, now it's time to, just cherish those old days and get used to nothing. But in some sense, God just uses crazy revelations and experiences to wake us up to a reality of His presence, so that He can show parts of Himself that doesn't look anything like we have seen. And if we want to stay with the understandable and conceptual level of hang out with God, He's humble enough to keep us there. And He will be like, okay, if you want that, we can do that throughout your whole life. But He speaks our language. And if we need something shocking, He gives us something shocking. If we need something supernatural, He gives us something supernatural or understandable. But He also calls us to where He is. And His language is not our language, and His thoughts are not our thoughts. And He exists beyond thoughts and revelations and nice ideas of Him. And if we cling to those, and if we think that this is where God exists, this is where I can meet Him, this revelation, this kind of teaching is so liberating, it means so much to me, I will never ever let this go. If we do that, we basically say no to a discovery of God's being that is way beyond our thoughts. This is why I always teach on, like, you should discover the God within you that lies beyond your thoughts and imaginations and feelings, that these are the layers of all kinds of things that are put on your real being, which is God Himself. Like Teresa of Avila says that in the 7th room there is always the King reigning without interruption, no matter what's going on in other rooms of your soul. So yeah, God is so much so beyond our are thoughts that sometimes we have to get rid of them to meet Him underneath them. And yes, there are times when God just stops communicating with you in an understandable and sensible way. Maybe just for a season, maybe for decades, I don't know. And it's not a test, and it's not not a trick from Him. Like, okay, I've given you some nice things, but I no longer give those. It's more like He has so much of Himself that just basically does not exist in the realm of thoughts and cannot be interpreted in thought. And if you want those parts of God, you need to be okay. If you want to discover and sense those parts of God, you kind of have to be okay with, okay, maybe there is a feeling of emptiness and wordless peace and nothing but the sense of existence. And this is what presence looks like for me, because God wants to communicate those parts of Himself to me. And this is the stuff of trust for sure, because it feels like, am I going backwards? Nothing seems to happen to me. Am I still okay? And God is like, you've asked me to show things that you've never seen. This is it. This is one of it. So it's something like a very humble position of allowing God to be God and reveal to you whatever He feels like revealing to you. And yes, it's kind of confusing, especially if you had a lot of crazy experiences of God. You're like, okay, I want more of that, more intense of that, and I want to see you the way you are. And then He just stops everything and shows you sheer naked silence. And this is not what I asked for. And God says, you've asked for that. You wanted to see me, discover the depths of me. This is a large part of it. Is boundless, inexpressible joy and peace that's sometimes beyond your senses. And sometimes I communicate of myself in a way that cannot be put in words. And sometimes when we use this expression, it cannot be put into words. We always think about like, oh, it's so super spiritual. It's like we cannot speak about it. But that's not what I talk about. What I'm talking about, it's more like it's so so much looks like nothing that you cannot say anything about it. And this is the place where you are just like, okay, I trust that you are in me and that I am still in you, and we have a fellowship with each other, and it's okay for me to have it in a way that I can't understand. So basically that's the point, that I don't say that we cannot, like, God doesn't reveal himself. Of course he does, but sometimes his revelation does not look like anything like teaching or experience what we can like digest. Sometimes his revelation is a simple, vast, empty space. And it's a great thing to allow him to be that to us. God bless you guys. These were the thoughts for today. Just allow him to take you to the places in him that cannot be interpreted in any human manner. God bless you.